Good afternoon, good morning or good evening, whatever the time of the day it is that you're tuning in to First Report 12.0 with Fletcher Tabuteau.
And Clayton Mitchell.
Right, we are now in the Research Hub division of our Parliament, of our team. Anyway, you can see them all beavering away in the background. That's Aiden over there. See that? That's Aiden. And that's Julie over there. All right, hi Julie.
And there's a few of them.
And there's a couple away as well, because it's middle of winter and they're a little bit sick. Not mentally. They got the flu.
So, look, I know that you've been doing a few public meetings recently, and some of the questions that keep coming up is, why is the House so aggressive? And why is it that we treat each other like we do? And I think that comes down to question time. So tell us about what else is going on and what is it we're doing.
To be brutally honest, sometimes the House can be like a bunch of seagulls fighting over a chip. It gets very, very noisy. But the whole idea of it being done that way is actually for the media. The media love all that sort of stuff, because when we get on really, really well, and most of the time we do in the House, the media never write about that. There's no story. So the whole idea of question time is, which is 1 hour a day, just for 1 hour a day, it's the opportunity for the opposition to ask questions of the government, the ministers, what are you doing, how are you doing it, and it gets quite contentious. So it is very rowdy, and I agree with you from an outsider looking in. It looks like we don't get on, but ironically, we get on superbly well most of the time, with most of them.
Different people, different levels of...
I've just come out of Select Committee and we've had some really good engagement with National, Labour and the Greens, New Zealand First, all of us together coming through some of the Crown Minerals bills.
Okay.
And so look, it's very, very collegial outside of that 1 hour window, and we do get on very, very well, but you don't get to see it, and that's because that's the fault of the media.
Well, and and let's be technical about it. It is the Westminster system. It is an adversarial parliament.
Yes,
so
it's been around for a long time. It's about good engagement.
But
lots
the media
debating.
do like something to report.
I'll stir it up, stir it up.
Yeah.
Hey, now Fletch, we just had the IMF report come out yesterday. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so look, I mean...
What is the IMF first? Because people might not even know what that is.
Well, it's the International Monetary Fund, so thank you for asking that. Based out of the US, but
I use acronyms all the time. It's ridiculous. I never know what they're talking about.
And look, what I wanted to touch on very briefly was the level of confidence out there and this perception that for some reason businesses don't think things are going well. But actually, one of the things that is not well known is business investment in themselves is an all-time high. Businesses, are spending money on themselves to grow themselves.
NZX 50?
The stock market in New Zealand's going gangbusters. It's great. But the IMF report came out and said, this country, this government, are doing so many of the fundamentals bang on. And actually, it was quite proud for New Zealand First. So you look at our R&D tax credit system. Did you tell
National that? Because
this is the problem.
It's not doom and gloom, right?
They're getting a lot of airtime telling everyone about the doom and gloom, but it's not. And things are going really well. There was a lot of credit given to government policy to empower that, the Regional Growth Fund, our tax credit, the restructuring of the tax system. There's a lot of good things, fundamental core things that are going really well. And in fact, our projected growth for the next 5 years is quite high at about 3%.
That wasn't a gang symbol, by the way. That was 3%.
3%. Yeah. So, look, and you just got to put that out there at every opportunity that we can. It's an independent source. They've got a lot of big minds analysing the data. In fact, there's a story behind one of those minds, but I won't go into it now. So, it's great news.
We're limited for time, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So the other thing, dude, is the EMA's... is it fix the bill?
Yeah, fix the bill.
Yeah,
that's a good question, mate.
Yep.
Look, at the moment, we are being inundated with emails. The EMA, the Employment Manufacturers Association, are doing a campaign called Fix the Bill. You might have seen it on your website. You might have seen it as you're driving along. You see the big billboards.
Yeah, I've seen one of the billboards
It's
already.
all to do with the Employment Relations Amendment Bill and the problems that the bill, actually unintended consequences of the bill that are going to potentially take us back in time to another space. The first thing I've responded to is saying, look, New Zealand First, in the negotiations of sitting down and discussing this bill, we've said, look, it's important for small and medium-sized businesses in New Zealand to maintain the 90-day work trials. We've got that win. We understand there are a heck of a lot of submissions that have come through the Select Committee process identifying a number of those other issues with inside the bill to do with collective employment agreements and opting in and out, etc. We are going to be looking at all that on the 23rd of July, so coming up very, very shortly. We'll be going through that bill with a fine-tooth comb and looking at ways that we can fix any unintended consequences. So thank you for sending in all those concerned letters. Thank you very much for being respectful, because they have been very, very
part
respectful.
of democracy, and it's great to see.
And we'll be doing our bit to make sure we get that right. Just before we finish off, because I know we're at 5 minutes, favourite song?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
True Love Waits by Radiohead, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good song.
Yeah.
Good.
The live version.
A classic rocker.
No, the live version.
Oh,
What about
beautiful.
you?
I'm going to go with Hard Woman by Mick Jagger.
Oh,
She's the Boss album. It's a classic.
It is a classic.
It is a
actually,
good one.
yeah.
All right, on that
shouldn't-
note.
I shouldn't judge.
Yeah, don't go out and buy it on Spotify. Mind you, it's only going to it's only cost you minimal. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. 2-week recess, actually, so you won't see us for a couple of weeks. But thanks for
Cheers,
tuning
everyone.
in.
Thank
Ciao.
you. Bye.